I hope you are well. In this video we will see what is the best airport experience you've ever had. This video is brought to you by Question Response. Today's answers will be presented by Gary Dutery, Jay Biddle, Andy Kerr and Stephanie V. We'll start with the first answer by Gary Dutery.
As I walked to the counter to check in for my flight, I spotted this guy, his suit covered in question marks. Seated in the boarding area, I tilted my head in his direction and asked, dryly, please tell me he won't be handling the navigation today. It was a little funny, but not that funny. The agent lost it. She eventually recovered enough to inform me she had some very bad news. Still chuckling, she said economy had been overbooked and that, sadly, she had no choice but to cram me into first class for my long, dreary flight across the country. Yeah, I reckon that was a pretty good airport experience.
We can continue with Jay Biddle's answer.
Coming home from my first solo abroad trip through Zurich Airport on a British Airways from Zurich Airport to London Heathrow Airport. Being the 14-year-old teenager that I was, I decided that I could go out to see my godmother on my own this time. From the countless trips between ZRHLHR, I already knew Zurich Airport like the back of my hand, having lived in Zurich for 6 years and returning to England to see family with my parents multiple times a year. Now, having checked in a few hours before my flight, my first task was security. The leg over had been a breeze ever since Heathrow paralysed * security. Zurich, however, was the mess it always had been. The queue went from the back of the ticket gates snaking down to the lanes about 100 meters away. After waiting for 45 minutes and having moved about 10 paces, I started to get nervous. At this rate I would miss the flight. Little to my knowledge, the person about to walk past me would inspire me to get my pilot's license. Having the same fate as me, he asked me how long I had been there in what I would call 90% fluent English. Despite the uniform, I hadn't clocked that he was a BA pilot. We spoke for a few minutes before he continued, I assumed, to the crew lanes. Next thing I knew, he was back with a security officer. They asked me who I was flying with, and when I informed him that I was flying BA, he said one of the best things I've ever heard. Remember, up until this point I was just another traveler at Zurich Airport. He didn't even know I was flying BA until this point. He said to follow him and the officer. The officer showed me his ID, so of course I obliged. We went right past the line, into the crew section. We continued to talk until we reached the front of the line. At Zurich it links back up with the regular line, but right at the front, and there is an officer stood there giving directions. Whilst walking down the crew lane he glanced up, understandably wondering why I was there, but after a brief discussion he directed me and the newly met pilot to security. I was still shocked as to the pilot's assistance. Due to him I now had an hour to boarding, enough time to buy a drink and ride the ski metro to Concourse E. This was already the best travel day ever. After locating the gate and taking a seat, I was indulged in Quora articles when boarding started. It seemed weird at the time that they just opened boarding, no early or business passengers first. It would later be apparent that there were only 30 packs on this late flight, with no business class packs. I was originally assigned 6C, just behind the divider between business and economy. When I got to the gate, some of us were handed new boarding passes. Having read multiple books, I guessed this was for weight distribution, and it was. We couldn't all sit at the front, as the center of gravity would be outside of the recommended limits, so we had to spread out. In the rush down to the plane, I hadn't looked at my new seat, assuming I would be more central or over the wing. Before you read on, it's important to note that the flight crew on the plane didn't know about the reassignment of seats at the gate. As I passed my boarding pass to the flight attendant, she sent me forward, Boeing 767 boarding through the second door. On this plane there were about 5 rows of economy and then 6 rows of business class ahead. Halfway down, another member of crew approached and asked where I was sat. Having handed her my boarding pass, she walked me to my new seat. 1A. To make that clear, due to the weight, or lack thereof, they had to redistribute the packs across the plane. Somehow, I'd won the upgrade lottery and been bumped up to business. The service was amazing, and, to my amazement, there were 2 crew for the 3 lucky ones of us who had to move forward, meaning amazing service. At the end of the flight, they asked if we wanted extra snacks to take with us, as we were the day's last flight, so it would all be thrown away. Of course I accepted and was handed a bag containing multiple packets of crisps, some BA chocolate and a couple biscuits. This was to conclude my near miss at security and the lack of passengers causing my bump up. This is still, to this current day, my luckiest flight ever. Definitions. Parallelized tilde at Terminal 5. They had made security quicker by having 2 belts effectively. You would pick up a tray from underneath and load up at one of 3 stations for each line. You then push the tray back along into the X-ray. This means that one slow person doesn't hold up the line. Packs tilde passengers. Ski metro tilde think bendy bus meets train attached to a wire. The wire pulls along the carriage between the main concourse and Concourse E. Thanks to all BA staff who assisted me. Jay Biddle.
The following answer is from Andy Kerr.
Fort Wayne, Indiana. No circling, no delays. Land straight in, taxi for a minute or so, park at the gate. Everybody's off the plane a few minutes later, into a bright, clean, dare I say cute? Little airport with lots of glass. A volunteer is standing there as you get off with a basket. Welcome to Fort Wayne. Would you like a cookie? Well, yeah, they're still warm from the oven. Good cookies, too. Walk past a few shops and down to the baggage claim, where the carousel is already moving and baggage is already coming out. Grab my bag, walk out the door to where my friend is waiting for me, right in front of the doors, without a cop hassling him to move on. A clear, unambiguous exit to the main road and clear signage to the closest major highway. Runway to highway, 15 minutes. Plus cookies.
What do you think? We will continue with Stephanie V's answer.
Greater than. As we approached BKK, the driver asked me if I was flying first or business. I said first. He said, very good, pulled out his cell phone, and made a call. When we pulled up in front of the Thai Airways terminal, he stopped and 3 men rushed the car. 2 young guys in Thai silk outfits, with luggage carts, and a slightly older man in a pinstripe suit with a walkie-talkie. The young guys loaded my bags onto the carts and headed inside. The guy in the suit led me behind them. When we entered the terminal, we did not go to the area where people line up to check in. Instead, we went into a walled-off lobby area with some easy chairs and 2 beautiful young Thai women working at a desk. They asked for my passport and the guy in the suit led me to an easy chair to wait for them to check me in. It took a few extra minutes because I was on 2 different tickets, BKK SID and SID SFO PDX, but they checked me in and checked my bags through. The young guys with the luggage carts tagged my bags and took them away. The guy in the suit handed me a folio with my boarding passes and baggage receipts and escorted me to a down escalator. As we were riding down, I saw a huge, very nice lounge at the bottom. I said something complimentary about it. He replied, "Oh, that's the business class lounge." At the base of the escalator, another Thai Airways employee, with a golf cart, was waiting for me. The guy in the suit handed me off and the guy with the cart greeted me by name and drove me the length of the business class lounge, out the other end, around a couple of corners, and finally to the door of the Thai Airways first class lounge. It was 10 p.m. Again I was greeted by name, by a hostess who asked me if I would like a massage before my flight. I said maybe in half an hour. She said, very good. Would you like a glass of champagne now? I said that sounded good. She escorted me into the lounge, helped me select a seat, and brought me a glass of champagne. I leafed through magazines for half an hour until she reappeared and asked if I was ready for my massage. I stood up and started to pick up my carry-on. No, she said, leave it. It will be safe here. She escorted me around a couple of corners to the Thai Airways spa, where I had a lovely 30-minute seated massage, my preference, and was then escorted back to the lounge. Another glass of champagne materialized in front of me. I walked down to the food to see what was there. I admired but did not take any satay. 2 minutes later, a plate of satay skewers, 2 chicken, 2 beef, 2 pork, was placed in F. Access this answer and support the author as a Quora Plus subscriber. Access all answers reserved by Stephanie V. For Quora Plus subscribers. Access exclusive answers from thousands more participating creators in Quora Plus. Browse ad-free and support creators. Start free trial. Learn more.
The video is over. Thank you for staying until the end. Remember to subscribe if you like the video. The likes also help a lot for referencing. You know what you have to do. We are coming to the end of this video. Share your views on this question in the comments. See you next time.